Prepare to be captivated by the business story of the week, hosted by me, Shaheen Shan. Join us on a journey through the twists and turns of entrepreneurial triumphs and setbacks. Immerse yourself in the narrative and witness the magic that turns dreams into reality. This is Business Story of the Week.
And welcome back, folks. Welcome back to Business Story of the Week. I am your co-host, Joshua. And today, like we always do, we unravel stories of success, innovation, perseverance, struggles, and succeeding through these struggles and these perseverance. And our guest today is the prime example of persevering through all that and succeeding no matter what challenges you face. George V. Gonzalez is the number one best-selling author of Answer the Call: Life Lessons from Family Origins Through Invention and Struggle, where he shares his own inspiring journey of reinvention after facing diversity. Through his book, and his coaching sessions, George empowers others to overcome challenges and pursue their true purpose in life. George, I am quite excited for this episode. Thank you for being on here. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Joshua. Thank you so much for having me here today.
Fantastic. George, this is, first of all, even if we're just we may be primarily a business podcast, but, as you all know, everyone goes through challenges in life, business individually, life in general. What you teach here, I am certain, resonates with everyone, not just in their entrepreneurial journey, but everyone who struggles, and we all struggle through life. And George, before we get into everything, we need the background story, right? We need the backstory of George Gonzalez. Anything that happened, like particular pivotal moments in your childhood, perhaps, or throughout your lives, any pivotal moments that has led you to where you are, where you shifted your career path, and the moment in your journey that inspired you to embrace true change and pursue your true purpose.
Yeah, I think I can go back to my early teens,
Okay.
and this knowing came over me that I was someone special and gifted, and I knew that I had a big purpose in my life, and I know, of course, I hadn't lived life yet. So
Mhm.
I knew that it was going to present itself and unfold itself when I was ready for it. So it's about really believing that you are special. And I think a lot of us know that or believe that, but sometimes we
Mhm.
think that we're making it up. The thing is that
Right.
we're not making it up. That's actually real. It's true. If
Mhm.
you get this feeling that you're special, guess what? You are special. If you
Mhm.
have this feeling that you're gifted and you're talented in some way, shape, or form, that means you are, because that
Mhm.
was put inside of you. God did that for you.
Mhm.
So that
Mhm.
was like the pivotal part of my life early on, that I knew that I was special, and
Mhm.
I knew that I was going to create something. So every time that I had an idea, I went for it. When I believed
Mhm.
that I was good at something, I went in all in on it, because
Right.
I knew that I was meant for something great. And because I believe that, this is why I wear so many hats. I'm a real estate
Mhm.
agent, I'm an inventor, I'm a published
Mhm.
author, I'm a public speaker, because I
Mhm.
believe in myself so much.
Mhm. But that must have been, not an easy ride at all. And in your book, you share a lot of these events in your life where one of them you experienced a disability that shifted your
Mhm.
career path. Talk to us a little bit about that, but also what came first? Did George the author came first? George the inventor came first? Which hat did you wear first?
So the first hat that came to me, I was in a career for 20 years in warehouse distribution logistics. I was a manager,
Okay,
and
right.
just little old me, I was able to move up in the ranks, and I was
Okay.
super proud of myself. But it didn't really kick in really until when I wrote the book. And wait a minute, I was successful in my field for 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
So that was like the biggest hat that I wore for
Mm-hmm.
that long, and not even realizing and really giving myself credit. And
Right.
then after that, I was unemployed when the market crashed in 2008. And when I was unemployed, that's when I became an inventor coaching my daughter's softball team.
Okay.
And my daughter, she was 11 years old, real small, petite little girl. All the girls got picked except for her and like 10 other little
Okay.
girls. So I commit myself to be an assistant coach because I convinced another parent to be the coach. And that's where the invention came out in that field, coaching my daughter's
Hmm.
softball team. And
Well,
then I became a real estate agent. And
okay.
lastly, it was the author in
All
2021. And
right.
then I became a public speaker in 2021.
All right. Wow, fantastic. Okay, that's it. We need to kind of break that down. Thank you for laying it out like that. First of all, you were a logistics manager for 20 years. Big hat
Yeah.
to wear, a lot of experience. But you said like later on when you became an author, you realized that hey, I should give myself more credit. And
Mhm.
that's something we all kind of go through in life, right? Just as an entrepreneur and generally as an individual, we feel like I don't feel fulfilled in this job or I don't feel fulfilled in this opportunity. But you may feel that, but that doesn't mean you can't give yourself credit because there was a reason why you were put in that place. There's a reason why you're special. There's a reason, there's a purpose for everything. Even if you felt like it wasn't a job that you were going to stay in, a path that you were going to stay in. Much like yours, you thought, hey, I'm gonna be involved with my daughter's softball team, right? Like I'm gonna invent something, and tell us about that. What was that particular invention that you had and you made for your daughter's softball team?
So I invented a batting machine for baseball and softball. Now that
Wow.
machine that machine came out of frustration because I went to the store shopping in all the local stores trying to find something to really help my daughter with her swing because she was so small and she was going to need a lot of
Right.
work. And I
Right.
couldn't find anything. We went for like 2 to 3 weeks. And then one day I go to sleep, I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I had this image in my mind. And
Hmm.
I sketched it out. I went back to sleep. I woke up the next morning and the sketch was right there. And I
Wow.
was like,
Wow.
I got scared. I got, nervous. I'm like, this was true. This wasn't a dream. This was real. And then
Wow.
I built a prototype. And then that's when my daughter became a 5-time All-Star, 1 year Rookie of the Year and 1 year MVP because of that batting
Wow.
machine that I created for her.
Wow, if that isn't a path to being special and embracing what makes you special and helping others, most especially someone you love, someone so special to you, embracing what makes them special as well. First of all, I like that. I like that image of you waking up 3 a.m. I was taught this a long time ago. I didn't think it was real. They said that if you had problems, like questions you couldn't answer, you like set an alarm, wake up like early in the morning, and then just like in your grogginess, you want to go back to sleep, try to answer that question, and your mind will make you answer it. And then just go back to sleep. It's so much similar to what happened to you. You woke up 3 a.m. You had that image. You sketched it. You even forgot that you sketched it. That's like kind of mind blowing. It's if it that isn't like some sort of epiphany, like bringing to life that what makes you special, and like, and not only that, it's bringing it, manifesting was the word that I was thinking about, manifesting those ideas, manifesting what makes you special. So after that, you invented, you are now an official inventor. What was the next path for George?
The next path was when I invented the machine. I've always believed that my daughter was special, and
Hmm.
when I invented the machine, I realized how special she was because she made modifications to my sketch. So she became the co-inventor at 11 years old.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Wow, that is
And
so
that final
cool.
and the final design that me and her created was what I built the prototype off of.
Right.
So, and
Wow.
I made sure that I gave her credit for it. And I made sure that I
Mhm.
always told her, oh my God, baby, you're an inventor. You're a little badass. You're amazing. You're a genius. I made sure I engraved that in her because I wanted her
Mhm.
to understand how great she was. Because
Mhm.
I think that we miss out on that by telling our
Yes,
kids that. And we're
of
not told
course.
that either, so we don't believe it until
Yeah.
later in life. It's like, oh my God, I was great, but no one ever told me
Yes.
that. So I want to make
Precisely.
sure that she knew that she was great. So the next thing after that is she became a five-time All-Star, 1 year rookie year. Everybody wanted her at that point, you know.
Wow.
And then I went back to work because I was unemployed, and then that's when I had the accident.
Oh no.
And when I had the
Okay.
accident at my job, I was disabled for 3.5 years. I was going through, I was heavily medicated. I was depressed. I had suicidal
Hmm.
thoughts. And then I heard this
Hmm.
whisper, and that whisper said real estate. And that's how I became a real estate agent. Now,
Wow.
the reason I became a real estate agent was because I was doing kitchen and bathroom remodels since I was 14 years old with my dad and my uncle.
Okay.
Kitchen and bathroom remodels, rehabs, and flipping properties. So I
Wow.
brought that experience forward into 2015, and I was able to close 12 deals in my first 16 months as a brand new real estate agent because I brought that relatable experience. Because we all
Wow.
have relatable experiences that we can bring forward.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm. Wow. Well, first of all, George, again, it's like the ebb and flow, the waves of life, right? You guys are on top. You're an inventor. Your daughter's an inventor. Did you get the invention patented? Is it patented?
It's patent pending, yeah.
Wow, that's fantastic. So imagine, like you guys are on top of the world, and then boom, accident. What happened in particular? What was the injury? Why were you in
So,
2 years disabled?
so 3.5 years, I had a slip and fall, so I dislocated three
Three.
discs, one in my lower back, one in my mid spine, and one in my neck. In
Oh
my neck,
goodness.
I allowed them to give me a shot because I couldn't even turn my neck. But I
Oh.
couldn't allow them to cut me open in my spine because I didn't want to get this be like on a wheelchair because any bad move would completely put you out, and I didn't want to do that. So I've
Hmm.
had to learn how to maneuver my body in such a way, stretch it, make it comfortable to be able to get off the medication. And so
Hmm.
I can't sit for long periods of time. I can't stand for long periods of time. There's certain things that I have to do every day to be able to function, but at
Hmm.
least I'm able to walk. At least
Hmm.
I'm able to do normal things, even though I can't lift heavy weights. And in real
Right.
estate, I don't need to in real estate. Real estate is a different industry,
Of
But
course.
when I was a real estate agent during the pandemic,
Uh-huh.
that's when this feeling came over me. It's
Uh-huh.
time to write the book.
Oh
And I was like,
wow.
wait a
That's
minute. And it
all
hugged
right.
me again. It's time
Hmm.
to write the book. And I was like, it
Wow.
doesn't make any sense because the whole world is shut down. This doesn't almost make any sense. But I was obedient. I
Hmm.
wrote the book. It took me about 3 to 6 months. I launched it. It became a bestseller within 24 hours. And then I
Wow.
put it out there on social media. I got invited to podcasts, speaking events, and that's how I became a public speaker.
Wow, fantastic, George. Thank you. Okay, we're walking through this story of yours. I love it. We're breaking it down, but again, we're walking through the story of yours. But you were at a point where you couldn't even walk, and you said you
Yeah.
got into real estate when you couldn't walk. Like
Mhm.
that is a terrifying thing. Spine. I do kind of relate to you with the whole rehab thing, but it took you 3.5 years. That's a long time. Were you working real estate while you were disabled? How did you get that to
No,
work?
no, I was completely medicated. I was
Wow.
depressed,
Uh-huh.
suicidal thoughts. I was like in my darkest place that I've ever been in my entire life at that particular time.
Hmm.
And it
Oh my
wasn't until I
goodness.
got off the medication because the pain was so severe that I had to figure
Hmm.
out, okay, I need to make myself comfortable without this medication.
Yeah.
So I started doing like stretching and whatnot,
Right.
and core building exercises because I had to make sure to take care of myself because no one was going to do it for me. And the
Wow.
only choice I had was that or get
Hmm.
surgery. But I was like,
Right.
surgery is not an option for me.
Of
It's too
course.
dangerous. I
Yeah.
was only 39 years old with my accident.
Oh
That's
wow.
way too young to be completely
Hmm.
disabled.
Hmm.
So, and that's the decision that I made.
Especially with the family, of course, as well.
Yeah,
Like you're going to be disabled for the rest of your life. You can't be. You cannot. It's a burden that a father wouldn't want to put on their family as well, right?
exactly.
It's a decision that's just unthinkable, right?
Hmm.
So how did you? So you got off medication. You finally walked. You stood up. You took up. You gathered all your strength up.
Hmm.
Talk to us a little bit about that real estate transition. How did you fare from your remodeling experience, and to what area did you kind of expand into?
So when I came off the medication, I was able to think straight, and that's
Yep.
when I heard the voice. A voice told me, whispered,
Mm-hmm.
real estate. And I'm like, real
Yes.
estate, that's not far fetched because I have so much experience from kitchen and bathroom models and rehabs and doing flips with my dad and my uncle. I brought that forward and I used that for my benefit. So every time that
Yep.
I talk to a client, I talk to them about rehabbing. I talk about cosmetic work, sweat equity. And when I talk to them, they're like, wait a minute, that makes sense. So what you're telling me, George, is instead of paying $300,000 for a house, I would pay 220 for the house, do this
Right.
minor cosmetic work, and walk into 70 grand with the equity. Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. And that's how I was able to close 12 deals my first 16 months as a brand new agent because I brought that experience forward.
That's fantastic because now you like in every stage of your transition, you come into like a you drop down really low and then you bounce back really really high, and that's not just because of luck. I imagine there's some luck involved, but George, you give us like this kind of like resilience and energy of resilience, but also this sense of like calm, that you're accepting things, and you're letting it come to you, and then facing them with that same sense of calm but still resilient. And I think that's a lot of things, that's something that a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners, that kind of mindset is something that could help them move along the way in life as well. Now, you moved into real estate, you got into the pandemic, and then you heard another whisper, you heard another voice, and it's this time write the book. And the book is titled Answer the Call. And this is the whisper, the call that you have been answering the entire time. Talk to us a little bit about the book and highlight the importance of using setbacks as opportunities for growth.
Now, this magical thing happened with the book also because I was going to call the book American Inventor. But the day that I was
Okay.
finalizing the title, a whisper told me, answer the call.
Oh,
And I
wow.
was like, what? And then I heard it again. And then I said it
Wow.
out loud to my publishing company because I was on the phone. And they said, George,
Mhm.
what is that? That's the name of the book. I was okay, George, where did you get that from? It was just whispered to me. Okay, George, we're scrapping American Inventor and we're going with Answer the Call. This is the title of the book.
Yes, that's absolutely perfect. It's
So,
the
I mean,
perfect
I'm just,
call.
I
Go
was
ahead.
just being obedient where I'm being led
Hmm.
to. And
Hmm.
Answer the Call, a couple of weeks later, it came to me that Answer the Call means following your gifts, your talents, and pursuing your life's purpose. That's what Answer the Call means.
Wow. George, I want to ask first and foremost, before we get deep into that, what do you think the voice was? Where do you think it came from? And was it something that was always inside of you? And what gave you the inclination to follow it with so much ease and obedience?
It goes back to my early teens where I knew I was special, I knew I was gifted, and I knew that I had a big calling on my life. I just didn't know what it was yet because I hadn't lived life. When these things were happening to me, I knew that I had to be obedient. And I knew with no doubt in my heart that God was the one that was guiding me through this. And I know that God was giving me the images, He was giving me the resilience, He was giving me the brave heart that I had. And He whispered to me, saying, this is what I want you to do, and this is what I want you to call it, and this is why. This is what it means. So just having that faith that He
Hmm.
was in control, and that I
Hmm.
knew that every step of the way He was going to uncover certain things. And there was times where He just gave me the knowing. There was times that He gave me the visions, but there
Right,
was times where He actually spoke to me and He
right,
whispered to me. I mean, He didn't have a conversation with me, but just the slight ask the call, real
right.
estate. It's time to write the book. These small little gentle touches. But
Hmm.
I knew that it was Him guiding me because my faith was so strong. So
Wow.
I mean, it's all about being obedient for me.
Wow, that well, now that explains this calm demeanor of yours, this calm surrender. Now I figured out the word calm surrender to what was happening in your life, whether it was bad, it was negative. You were surrendering to it because you knew there was somebody, a higher power that was guiding you through all this, and you know you will be guided. you knew that if you answered this call, you will overcome, and that's a beautiful story. That is such a beautiful story, George. When it comes to entrepreneurship, business, innovating, managing all of that, what is one particular advice you can give our audience and listeners who's going through any struggles or even just in their business? What is that one advice you would say that would allow them to calmly surrender a bit more to this voice and to this call?
What I want people to understand is that every single one of us has a gift, a talent, and a life's purpose. And every single one of us is going to go through a journey in life. And a lot of the times it's not going to make sense. It's not going to
Right.
make sense why I was in management for 20 years. It didn't make sense because I got hurt, but I understood that there was a reason for that. Even though it didn't make sense to me, I knew there was a reason for that. So everything that I've gone through is intertwined and interlocked because on my book I talk about everything. So that journey for me, the struggles, the adversity, the setbacks
Mm-hmm.
was going to be on that book for me to motivate and inspire people and
Wow.
show people how special they are, how gifted
Mm-hmm.
they are, and that
Mm-hmm.
their journey is a process for them to find their calling in life. So that's what I
Wow.
want people to understand. And if something were to happen in your career today, that tomorrow
Mm-hmm.
you can do the same career, there's relatable experiences that you have from your previous
Mm-hmm.
career, from your previous life that you bring forward. Therefore, we're not starting from scratch. We're starting
Right.
with experiences and from lessons learned.
Wow. George, I am glad that you have overcome all of this. And now, like, we are now at the present. You've walked us through your life with all these different stages, all these challenges, all these struggles, and how you've persevered. Today, you are a public speaker, a published author, sharing the call and how you've struggled and how you've overcome these obstacles, sharing them as a public speaker and coaching them, incorporating these lessons into your coaching and teaching other people's and sharing all of that. How does that feel right now? And is there anything else that you would like to, achieve? And what's the next step for George?
I mean, I am humbled
Hmm.
to wear the hats that I wear, and I am humbled to be in the position that I am because I believe that I am in a very uh, what's the word I'm looking for here? A very honored position, right? And I just want people to understand that we all have a calling in our lives. And for me,
Right.
it's to motivate, inspire the next generation and to motivate,
Hmm.
inspire anyone that's going through adversity that they feel that they have a need to reinvent themselves. And I want to
Right.
be able to guide them through my experiences, through my book, my social media content, my coaching, my mentoring. I want them to understand that they can do it too.
Right.
Because if somebody like me was able to do it, why can't you do it?
Hmm.
We're the same. We're
Right.
the same, just a little different, but we're all the
Right.
same. We all have
Hmm.
the ability to do things if we
Hmm.
believe and have faith that we're capable of, and
Hmm.
also that we're worthy of them too. Because a lot of times, like you said earlier, we feel that we're not worthy of something, which we
Yes,
are. So it's good to
it's
be
true.
humbled, but not
Hmm.
be too humbled that we don't feel that we're special yet, because we are. Because it took me to write the book and to see it. It's like, oh my God, I really have created a lot of things here. I should
Hmm.
give myself more credit. So
Hmm.
I make sure that I give other people credit because I know they don't give themselves credit. So I want to make sure that I be the pat on their back that I didn't give myself.
It's a lot of like giving that credit to yourself is a lot of self love as well. I love what
Yes.
you said, that be humbled, but not to the point where you don't think you're special, because everything or everyone has that's something special about them. And if that isn't a message to put out in the world today, I don't know what is. Like, it's something that everyone should hear, no matter what they're going through, no matter what challenges they're facing. All they have to understand is that you're okay, you're fine. You have this power inside of you. You have this something that's special, what makes you special. All you have to do is embrace that, embrace it with a lot of humility, and embrace it with a lot of self love. George, that's what I got from you today. That is what I hope my audience and listeners have got from you today. Um, I kind of did ask this question a little bit earlier, but tell us about the future. What are the future aspirations of George Gonzalez? And where can we find you? Where can we connect with you? Are you on LinkedIn? Are you on Instagram? And where can we find this book?
You can find me in all my social media platforms under my name, George
All right.
underscore V underscore
Uh
Gonzalez.
huh.
And
Uh-huh.
if you go to my bio in any one of my platforms, you can actually download a free copy of my book, right?
Okay.
And what's next for me, man, I just want to inspire over 100 million, a billion people if I can, with the message of Answer the Call, because I believe that it's needed in today's society, that people need to
Mhm.
understand that we have to go deep within ourselves and really
Right.
uncover those gifts, those talents,
Yes.
and pursue our life purpose so we can find fulfillment in our lives, because the things that we do today, they may not fulfill us. So it's our duty to find those things that do fulfill us, because that's where we become as happy as possible. So
Wow, George, and I would love to say, in behalf of all our audience and listeners, and not just me, you have inspired us today, and you have told us that message that we are all special,
yes,
and you have motivated us to answer the call, and that is what I invite our audience and listeners today to answer that call. Listen to that voice deep inside you. Make sure to follow George on all his socials. Get that book, answer the call. And George, thank you so much for being on the show today.
thank you so much for having me. It's my pleasure, man.
Fantastic. And to all our audience and listeners out there, see you on the next one.
All right, so here's the thing. We try to get a little bit better every day, but we can't do it without you. So if you like the video, make sure to like and subscribe below. And if you have any comments, just leave them in the space under.